In this video, we look at the language of SMART and how to make it practical so that it can be used as a routine part of conversations about objectives, targets, and tasks. It should then feel more normal when it's used to agree goals. So we have our preferred version of SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound or time-related. In fact, let's make this simpler and just call it time. Now remember, it's not about the acronym. The point is to deliver an outcome or to change a behaviour. SMART is just a framework that allows managers to define objectives and tasks effectively so they can be delivered. SMART objectives don't fail because people forget the acronym. They fail because the conversations around them are poor. So let's talk about SMART in practical terms that can be used in everyday conversations. Specific is about the what. What exactly is the objective or the task? What is the behaviour that you want to focus on? What will be done? And time is about when you expect it to be done. And these two are key. Now, not all 5 criteria have to be included for the objective or task to be SMART. But if you haven't defined what needs to happen and when it needs to happen, the chances are higher that it won't happen as you expect. When the success of the objective or the task will be judged by anything other than what's being done and by when, we should be clear about how. How will judge the success of the outcome. Measures is about how we'll judge that outcome or how we expect it to be completed. It avoids those "I wouldn't have done it that way," or "I really expected you to do it like this," or "isn't that just common sense" type conversations that are the hallmark of a badly defined objective or task. Whilst not always possible, it's measures that can also define how the outcome will be quantified, how progress will be measured and completion assessed. So targets are incorporated into measures as specific numbers that you want to hit. Relevance is about why we're doing it. When it's something that's clearly covered by the responsibilities of a role description, well, there's no need to make this part of the conversation. It can feel patronising or condescending to do that. But if this is about progression or addressing identified gaps in the team, then it should be made clear. I know this isn't part of your job, but we only have one person who can do this, so I want to use this as an opportunity to develop skills across the team. That makes it clear there's a purpose for the objective. It's not just giving them parts of your job that you don't like. The same is true when it's about a bigger picture strategic goal. This is contributing to our strategic goal of increasing our presence in the European market. Making it clear how the task connects to that larger project gives it meaning. Relevance is also about the impact that you expect the outcome to deliver. So it's important that it's understood. And finally, achievable. This doesn't always have to be part of the conversation, as you wouldn't knowingly ask someone to do something that wasn't realistic. But if the other person doesn't have the confidence that they can achieve the objective or the task, it's likely they have some information that you don't have or that you've overlooked. And this is why it's important to make setting objectives and tasks a two-way conversation, so there's a commitment to getting it done. If the person responsible for getting it done is not confident, the onus is on them to now share with you their concerns or to question the resources that will be available to support the delivery of the required outcome. So if there are no concerns raised or objections, then the task is accepted. Agreement is tacit. When you know that the person that you're talking to is new or lacks experience relevant to the objective or task, you should make achievable part of the conversation. Here the question becomes, are there any concerns, or who else could support this? I know you haven't done this before, but it's similar to what you did here, so I've got every confidence in you. I'll be checking in to make sure you're okay, but if you've got any questions, give me a call. It's about gaining commitment that will not be possible if there's no belief in their ability to complete the objective or the task. This becomes a practical checklist for ensuring conversations about tasks and objectives are effective. Are we clear about what has to happen and when it needs to be done? Are we clear on how we're going to judge the success or measure progress? How are the outputs going to be assessed? Do we understand why we're doing this? Are there any concerns? And if so, who else can support? Remember, SMART was introduced as a way of helping managers to consider the elements that go into setting effective objectives. Not all 5 have to be used, and the words themselves, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time, are not as important as what they represent. The intent is to ensure that the appropriate criteria for the effective delivery of outcomes have been considered and discussed. So, if it's that easy, why do managers still struggle to have effective conversations about tasks and objectives? Well, we'll get into that in the next video.